Hey everyone, how's it going? Bowser the Healer here, and today I want to talk about Mistweaver Monk. I finally got down to it. I finally started playing this class again. This was my first class in Shadowlands when I first started playing WoW, and I still love Mistweaver. It's probably my favorite healing class mechanically. I think Preservation is my favorite because I like dragons too much, but Mistweaver Monk scratches an itch that simply nothing else has been able to hit. So I want to talk all about it. I want to walk you guys through my talent tree and why I pick what I do, with some gameplay on screen whenever I can. Now, on the monk side of things, actually, before I get into the monk side of things, I just want to let you all know this is an Ancient Teachings build. So if you want to play Mistweaver and you want to play it the way I play it, it's very input intensive. It's a lot of buttons. It's fast. It can be a bit hard to keep up with, but I find that ultimately mastering the class has been so rewarding and so much fun to play. So if this sounds fun to you, go for it. But Ancient Teachings means that Tiger Palm, Blackout Kick, and Rising Sun Kick all heal for 150% of the damage done, and now it goes up to 30 yards, thankfully. In the last 15 seconds, your Feline Stomp and your Essence Font will both trigger it. And it's great. I love Ancient Teachings. I love the way it plays. If you're trying to play another version of Mistweaver, my guide's not it, let me tell you. I think the damage is too good. So, on the monk side of things, I think the key talents to talk about are Close to Heart and Save Them All. You just do more healing to anyone who's within 10 yards of you. This is huge. When you tell people to move in for healing, you might be able to get them into that 10-yard bubble, and that's a lot of healing to give. But also Save Them All. Whenever someone drops below 35%, you get an additional 20% healing output for the next 4 seconds. This move's awesome. This move just does so much work for me when bad things are happening. It's also the first place I'll remove points when I want to, say, make my Fortified Brew come off cooldown a little faster, or go summon White Tiger statue for more damage. But right now I'm not as geared as I'd like to be. Where am I at? I'm at 386. It's okay, but I could easily be in the 400s with a little more effort. Also, I just want to know, if you haven't used the Instant Vivify talent, this is not after casting Vivify in 10 seconds you get another free cast. No, it's sort of like there's a 10-second clock, and every time it hits 10 seconds, it gives you free Vivify. So if you cast a spell and you're 7 seconds into the clock, that means in 3 seconds you're getting an instant cast of Vivify. It's wild, it's a little weird, but honestly, it's nice. I actually think it's quite fun the way it works. Defensives, yeah, real quick. Diffuse magic works like Spell Reflect, if you did not know. So there's a lot of moves you can send back to enemies with diffuse magic that are super fun. Talk to a warrior friend, figure out what you can talk to them about. They'll probably have some reflects for you that you've never heard of before. You can use diffuse magic on them. The other thing I really like about this class is the paralysis. So not only do we have Ring of Peace, not only do I have Quaking Palm because I'm a panda, but also Leg Sweep, but also we have Para, which is a 30-second cooldown that gets reduced to 15. So many mobs in this game are CCable out of their cooldowns, right? Something like Piercing Shards in the Azure Vaults, you can hit Paralysis and stop it from going off. So between that and your 15-second kick, oh, you get some excellent top-tier control out of this class that I love having. It really makes a difference in runs. It can make certain boss fights and mechanics so much easier when you don't have to rely on a DPS not doing their job or a tank not doing their job. Everything else I take here is mostly to augment my damage and do more damage. And the reason is damage is important to our healing output. And on this side of the tree, let's talk about the talent. So we already mentioned it's an Ancient Teachings build. So it's all about Tiger Palms, Blackout Kicks, and Rising Sun Kicks. Over here, this allows us to use Blackout Kick to reset Rising Sun Kick, which is quite a bit of healing and damage output. But also, with plus Spirit of the Crane, you're getting mana back whenever you do Blackout Kick combos. Now, I have some footage of what that looks like here. You get your mana back. It's a little slow, but it's also a decent amount of healing. I sustain, I think, 13k. And 13,000 healing per second for very little cost is amazing. And that's before we talk about potentially renewing mists and whatnot that are out, which are very easy to keep up. And if I'm mixing in Rising Sun Kicks, I'm not regenerating as much mana anymore, but we're also refreshing those heal over times. And the healing output from this passive style is actually fantastic. And then it only gets better, of course, when you start using your entire mana bar. And speaking of using your entire mana bar, Feline Stomp. So when you combine all three of these abilities, you stomp, you put down these gorgeous lines, and when you fight on top of them, you now cleave with Blackout Kick. Tiger Palm stacks twice as fast, or rather it gets 2 stacks a hit, and you're more likely to reset Rising Sun Kick with Blackout Kick. It activates Ancient Teachings of the Monastery. It's awesome. I mean, this move does so much. And it also allows your Spinning Crane Kick to heal for 70% of the damage it does to your party members. And it does such a good job of healing them up. I think when you combine all three of these, you get so much healing out of Phalanx Stomp. You get so much of value. But if you are just spinning to heal, as great as it is, as fun as it is, as powerful as it is, you run out of mana. Like, it does hurt your mana bar. So if you're having to pump out tons of heals and spin on packs, it's rough. But that being said, because you cleave now, you can do a slightly less, you can do slightly less in AoE, but still do an unbelievably potent healing through Fist Weaving. Very fun. On the other sides, I didn't play Legion. Y'all, Sheilun's gift is broken. So this move, every 8 seconds you get a mist, and then drawing in the mist will heal up to 3 nearby allies for 6,900 per cloud at my current item level. So, you know, if you have a bunch of clouds, you end up healing a lot more. Except, not only is this good, like, this is already, like, great, right? Like, okay, good. It's got big range on it, allows you to heal people, it's charging up over time, and it lets you get buffs with this talent. Take a second to pause the video if you need to read them all, but every single one of these buffs is disgusting. You get up to 30 seconds of a buff depending on how many clouds you eat, and it's always a random one of these 4. But hear these. Your spells and abilities deal up to 40% more healing and damage to targets based on their current health. Your critical strike is increased by 30% while you're above half health. Decrease your damage taken by 15% and increase your haste by 25. 25% of damage or healing you deal is duplicated every 4 seconds. All of those are good. All of those are strong, and they're all attached to a heal. And so you can use this as a pseudo emergency heal, but you can also use it like a damage cooldown. Honestly, I think that Sheilun's gift is amazing. I miss Necro Brew. It's one of my favorite buttons, and I am sad we're losing it. But again, this is really nice, and I really love it. And before I talk about my experimental buttons, I do want to talk about this. Gift of the Celestial. So this allows you to summon your Celestial at a 1-minute cooldown instead of a 3-minute, but it only lasts 12 seconds. It's 100% worth it, I've learned. But I run Yulon. I used to run Chi-Ji, but Chi-Ji doesn't feel very good if you don't have fully stacked Blackout Kicks. And because that can take a little while, but not having the right haste weights, it feels clunky to me. Where with Yulon, you just pop Yulon, you Soothing Mist someone, and you mash Enveloping Mist, and the whole party heals. Like, it's wild. With this and Enveloping Breath, you just get so much healing output. It's insane, which is great. You need that 1 minute. Having a 1 minute up for almost every mechanic in a dungeon is awesome. But now we get to talk about some experimental buttons. Because I use the Yulon, though, part of me wants to get rid of Rising Mist. So this means every time you Rising Sun Kick, we extend the duration of our heal over time, the smart ones that jump to our allies, and it also heals everyone for a little bit. It's great, but it's not only just great, but we have a talent that allows us to, every time we Rising Sun Kick or Enveloping Mist, we put a Renewing Mist on someone. So you can get a ton of these suckers out, stack them up really high, and people have Renewing Mists for a very long time. It's good, it's great, but Tear of Mourning means I get more party-wide healing through my Renewing Mist via my Vivify and Enveloping spam that I do during Yulon. I'm going to try this the moment healing gets tough, because I feel like I'll be able to make it work pretty well, but Rising Mist has been there for me. And when you look at like my healing over time on like real fights, so I might try Tear of Mourning, and I run Zen Pulse normally because you can just AoE your tank. It does a ton of damage and it'll full heal your tank in a big AoE pack. But Uplifted Spirits, reducing the cooldown of Revival, which is our big 3-minute emergency heal, and it's a Mass Dispel as well. The move is disgustingly broken. It's being able to reduce its cooldown and give it a bigger heal with the heal over time afterwards is legitimately godlike. Even if it reduces it to a 2-minute cooldown, that's nice. Now it's only criticals, but it gives me a whole nother reason to try running more crit strikes. So as I get better gear, maybe I'll prioritize haste crit and we'll see how things go. Yeah, so that's a lot of talking and not a whole lot of gameplay. So I'll try to have some up on screen if I didn't get enough during the video. But Mistweaver's fun. It's hard, it's challenging, there are lots of parts to it, but the flow is incredible when you get it running, when you get it working. Nothing feels quite like it. Discipline Priest is good too. there's that sort of professional side to it I talked about, right? Where you nail all of your heals and you get them all in the right place and it feels professional, it feels clean, and there's nothing quite like it. This class is very much like a monk, going with the flow, learning how to like very much heal on the fly and heal creatively. You can't get too stuck in a pattern with Mistweaver and have to heal something one way. You're gonna have to roll with the punches on this class and figure out where your heals belong and how to keep extending them. But when you get it, it's a dance. It's an absolute dance. It is so much fun to play with. And honest to God, if you're looking for a new kind of healer and you've played a lot of casters before, you've never tried something melee, it's tough, it's different, it's gonna be hard, but it is super cool. So give Mistweaver a try and let me know what you think of the build. Feel free to drop your builds too and talk about them in the comment section. I'll be checking them out. And I have a Halls of Valor video walkthrough I'm gonna be doing soon, but that's gonna do it for me. Thank you all so much for watching and I will see you in the next one. Take care, friends.